So you've met this girl. Maybe she's from the gym. Maybe she's from school or work. You might know her for quite some time, or you've just met her. Or maybe you're on a date with her as you're watching this video. Every kind of relationship begins with verbal communication. It's scary, it's unpredictable, and thus it's exciting. You either succeed in having an intense romantic relationship or make her run over the hills. But ultimately, you have to start somewhere. You gotta talk to her. So what do you talk about? Should you share your philosophical ideas, your childhood dog, or your adventures? How much information should you share? What if you say the wrong things and drive her away? Do you have a solid plan? A blueprint to spark a connection? Most guys don't. And as the old saying goes, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. When the average guy talks to a girl, he only hopes the stars would align, but he ends up being tossed on the side. And now the possibility of launching a potential romantic relationship with an amazing girl is gone. As with any enterprise, when it comes to attracting girls, you can't leave it off to fate. You must take control. You must be charming, a guy who is large and in charge. This video focuses on topics you should focus on when impressing a girl. Topics that will increase your attractability. Topics that will enable you so you choose to desire to have an intense romantic relationship with her. So what should you talk about? First, what you need to remember is don't talk too much. Men are designed to talk less. Their verbal centers are much smaller compared to women. This is the perfect time to embrace your biology. Don't be like the average guy who talks too much. He thinks he's impressing her by his stories of his heydays in high school. She might smile and nod, but deep down, she can't wait till it's over. Remember, do not monopolize the conversation. Imagine a spotlight hanging over her head. Focus on what she has to say. Let her talk about herself. Don't worry what you'll say next. She'll enjoy being under the spotlight as long as you don't interrupt her. Now, you might be thinking, that's a total beta move. It's not, but only if you follow it up. As what this is, I will tell you in a short while. Listening to her is a crucial step to establish rapport, a launching platform to engage her emotional side. Pay attention to what she would like to talk about. When a girl is talking about herself, she will drop hints as where she would like the conversation to go. Here's a quick example of what you should do and what should not do when talking to a girl. For example, an average guy named John meets a girl named Sarah at the gym. He asks if it's her first time working out there. She says yes, and in fact, she just moved around from a nearby city. John replies quickly. He said he's been a regular customer, he finds the gym nice, and he's happy that there's a squat rack for every power lifter. John is completely clueless. Sarah gave him tons of information that he can follow up on. She was asking him to get to know more about her. So what John could have done instead? Sarah mentions that it's her first time in the gym and she just moved around from a nearby city. John could have picked these topics like a ripe fruit by asking the following. How does she like the gym? Why did she move here? How does she find the city? Where was she from? What's it like there? Sarah gave John a ton of information to follow up on, but John was too worried of what to say next. He was afraid he'd ruin the momentum by not having something to say. But if only he'd listened more and talk less, Sarah wouldn't have ignored him like the rest of the gym rats. Listen to the girl's every word for clues for her preferred topic. The evidence is bound to slip out. Like a detective, you have to find the clue that is hot for her. And speaking of hot, John was clueless that Sarah had the hots for him. How? She didn't reject him when he talked to her. Girls wouldn't usually speak to a guy at the gym unless she finds him attractive. And plus, she gave him tons of information that he can follow up on. If she didn't like him, she would have excused herself or answer with closed-ended statements. Remember, if a girl likes you, she would give a way for you to know her better. And giving you open-ended answers is a great way to start a conversation. Now, this is where you will switch on her emotional side. If you watch the past videos, you'd learn that the surest way to a girl's heart is through engaging her emotions. And if you want to attract her, you can't just keep on asking her follow-up questions. We've discussed earlier never to monopolize the conversation, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't have a share of your own information. In general, people like talking about themselves, and if you shine the spotlight on them, they'd be blinded by the light. So blinded that they wouldn't realize you didn't talk about yourself. Now this is only great when you're trying to befriend your professor or convincing a potential client, but not when you're attracting a girl. When your goal is to charm a girl, you need to make her know that you two are alike. In John's case, he could have told Sarah he's visited her former hometown and how much he misses spending time there. Or he could have just asked her what her fitness goal is. Remember, one of the crucial factors for attraction is establishing a common ground. This is where you need to share your similarities. Try to maintain a 40-60 ratio, where she does 60% of the talking. Now imagine you two are on a date, and apparently you thought that shining the spotlight on her too much is a great way to impress her. But what happens is you end up blinding her by too much light. When she gets home, she won't have a memory of you. She won't have something to hold on to, nothing to linger in her mind. Because guess what? You didn't share stories and information about you that she would have found relatable. You might find this hard, but the initial conversation is the most crucial part of a potentially intense romantic relationship. This is how your connection will be determined. Will you be a friend or a lover? Here's a recap on how to talk to girls. Rule number 1. Let her speak. By letting her speak the most, you are subconsciously making her pursue you, therefore increasing your value. Rule number 2. Ask her follow-up questions. Be attentive on the topics she would like to talk about. Rule number 3. Make me-too statements to show that you have a common ground. Rule number 4. Maintain a 40-60 ratio of the conversation. Thanks for watching. Until the next video.